Hello, welcome back. Or if this is your first time with us, welcome. Today we're going to be working on the trans tunnel on my car. Since the trans tunnel is the center of the car, I figured that's probably the most important piece to be straight, you know, since everything connects to it. So somehow I need to move this trans tunnel to Stevie's house where my car is in this car. Someone suggested on my last YouTube video that I should get a roof rack for the Integra. And honestly, that's a great idea. So now I'm gonna start looking for one. Guess I'll try to figure out how to fit this thing in there. That might be the best I can do. Should be good to go. Hopefully it's still there. Nice. The Integra that could. That's a great start to the day. So let's take a look at the 240. I guess I'll unload the rest of the Integra right now. I also had my welder in here and my gas and even some more tools up front. It's literally a work truck. Today's goal is to get this trans tunnel sorted out. So I'm going to begin with drilling out all these spot welds here and then determining where I want to cut along the side of the trans tunnel. I'm going to have to take off my hydro e-brake. That's alright, it's pretty easy. So I've just finished cleaning off the adhesive on the trans tunnel hump in the rear. Now you can clearly see all of the spot welds that need to be drilled out. All these little dots. Leaving the crossbeam on the trans tunnel itself is a great idea because then I can just line up the end of the rocker panel to the other rocker panel and I'll know for sure it's going to be the correct width. This is how the new trans tunnel looks. I'm gonna have to prep this trans tunnel as well, get all this adhesive off here, and then here's the rocker panel from the car that was cut, so I'll have to expose all of these spot welds on here as well, drill it off of here and then to here. But yeah, that's pretty exciting. That way I can know for sure where everything lines up. So that's really satisfying to know. Also, don't forget to drop a like and a comment on the videos. I love looking through all the comments and responding to all you guys and getting to know you guys. And if you're interested in seeing how this build turns out, drop a subscribe. I'll always be posting videos and updates on it. Okay, we got the first tedious task done, and that was just grinding off all the adhesive on this new trans tunnel. So now what I need to do is get all these loose ends off. So the old rocker off, the old trans tunnel end, and the old firewall. And then also I need to remove the old floorboard here. I'm probably going to keep just a little lip on it so I can overlap the floorboard that is on my car and then also on the half cut. So I'll show you what that looks like once this is all prepped. So I've just finished drilling all the pilot holes through the spot welds. I even went ahead and drilled pilot holes in the left-hand drive e-brake mount. Since my car is right-hand drive and I won't be using it, we'll use the spot weld drill bit. The tip of this will sit inside of the pilot hole I just drilled, and that will help keep the bit centered. Just like that. Just gotta do like 1,000 more of those. Alright, we finally got all those spot welds drilled out on here. So now I'm going to start separating the panels with this here pry bar. The car that I got this trans tunnel out of was a little bit rusty, so I may have to do some rust repair on some of these sections, but we'll check those out when we get there. Okay, I'm just looking at this part right here. It's kind of spotty right here. I'm not too worried about it. We'll work through it. that poor car that we cut up has seen better days. But that's okay, because some of it will live on in another chassis. There's a lot of people that are asking me like, oh, what's the point? Why don't you just shell swap the car? And it's like, that's not the point. If I wanted to shell swap the car, I would. The story of this car would die. And I don't want this story to end for this car, you know? It's been through so much. I've taken on road trips, built it from the ground up. I'd hate to see all of that get thrown away just because it got hit. So instead, I'm using this whole situation as a learning experience to better myself and how I work on cars, how I understand how cars are built, damage corrections. It's just progress. That's all it is. I just want to keep progressing, you know? Basically, the main point here is use what you have. Don't listen to what anyone's got to say. You can do whatever you put your mind to. If there's something you know that you can truly do and you want to do it and it's going to make you happy and it's not going to hurt anyone else, do it. And then there's people that say like this is a safety concern. Like I get it, like looking at it, yeah, it's kind of a safety concern like this, you know? The car is gonna be like fully welded back together plus a cage. If anything, it's gonna be safer than it was from the factory. You guys have seen in my videos just how thin these panels are. Like, these cars are thin to begin with, so I don't know. Just focus on you. People are gonna hate. Don't even give your energy to them. Just focus on you. Just do you. That's all it is. End rant. Sorry. Yeah, so I didn't feel like sitting there under the trans tunnel trying to unbolt all these. So I figured, why not just cut it off? We're already gonna replace the trans tunnel, so. Portable hydro. Let's test fit this new trans tunnel. I'm just gonna lay it on top just to kind of get an idea of how much like extra room I have on each side. Wow, that just like sank right into where it needed to go. I'm just gonna outline it with a marker just so I can take note of that. Okay, let's line it up on the half cut. Looks like everything overlaps nicely, so there's no gaps to fill in. Just like all along here. Before I go about cutting out this whole trans tunnel in my car, I want to have this half cut prepped, because ideally as soon as I cut out that trans tunnel, I'm going to want to weld this one in right away. Just to make it easier when I'm lining up this whole half cut, this will be one less major component to worry about when lining everything up. What I'm going to need to do is get this crossbeam off first and foremost. That way when I test fit this piece onto here, it'll sit flush, you know, and there'll be no gaps like how there were just now. When I do that, I'll be able to outline the areas where it'll overlap. Ah, sweet. Oh man, that's awesome. So exciting seeing stuff line up. I guess I'm gonna have to start determining where I'm gonna trim all this. I have to be careful where I trim up front because that's actually the trans mount. Right there. I don't want to trim any further back than that because then I'd be cutting off some of the mount. Some things I'm noticing that will help with the overlap is removing little pieces like this. So that's like one of the mounts for the seatbelt, which is right here. So since there's one on here, I'm gonna keep this one, but remove this mount. This mount is on here. And that's for a 2-piece drive shaft carrier bearing, which I actually don't need, but I'm just gonna keep it because it's structural and it'll help it make it more rigid inside the trans tunnel. But I'm not gonna bore you with more spot weld videos, so I'll just get it done real quick. So excited. This is lining up pretty good.